Dun, dun. Draai gou-gou, kom ons kyk, maak gou-gou, jy het so 5 sekondes. Sit ook gou-gou aan en sê ek vir ja of nee. Good evening, folks. Good evening to those of you joining us Tuesday night for our normal Q&A evening. Thank you for joining us here. Let me just see if I can get this thing to work properly. There we go. There we go. Hoe gaan dit met Ef? Ja, dit gaan baie goed met my, dankie baie. Die werk, die jaar het met 'n bang begin. Ek dink die grootste probleem op hierdie stadium van geveg is ek kom nie weer alles uit nie. So dit gaan baie goed, dankie baie vir ja, dit gaan regtig baie goed. En ek hoop dit gaan goed met julle en ek hoop vir die wat verlede weekie was nie. Beste 2025, mag dit 'n goeie jaar wees. Goeienaand Gys, lekker om jou weer te sien. Hoop het gaan goed met jou daar onder in die Kaap. Ek is seker jy is daarso. Sean, thanks Sean. Appreciate the videos and I appreciate everybody with comments like this. I appreciate it, Sean. And I hope that it's of value. Luckily I'm getting more comments of thank you than comments of it's up to shite. Am I familiar with TRF? I'm not sure. TRF, there's so many acronyms in our industry, Sean. Maybe you can just write out the actual word, and then I might know, but Telkom. Oh, Telkom Retirement Fund. Okay, sorry, but so, no, I'm not very familiar with them. I do know that a number of people at some point got retrenched from Telkom. And then I got to look at one or two of those pension funds, but I am not familiar with it. But it cannot be much different to most other pension funds. Any insights on how much money was withdrawn last year with the two-pot? Gee, it was millions. As a matter of fact, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if my friend Tian has maybe sent me something. I can have a quick look. Two-pot. Can't see anything so quickly, but I know it was millions. It was millions, if not billions. It was plenty of money that was withdrawn. So Sean, yeah, like I say, I can't tell you too much about the Telkom pension fund, but I do believe that it's going to work like any other pension fund. I don't think there's anything special about Telkom's pension fund. And as far as I know, it's definitely not a defined benefit fund, so it's a defined contribution fund. So it's based on that. Fayyad, I'll find out about that because that will be interesting to actually know. But I know it's billions. Let me just make a note here while I'm talking. Then I can find out at a later stage about it. Two-pot withdrawals. Total 2024. I just do remember that it was ridiculous amounts when they just told us after the first one. Hello, Brownie Gold. Brown Eye Gold, welcome here. Nice to see you. Sean, you say the tax-free. Is the Capitec of 500,000 only for the money saved or does it include the growth? No, your 500,000 is just the money that you contribute to a tax-free plan. So you can contribute 36,000 Rand per year, and then you can contribute up to 500,000. And once you've contributed that, then you must stop because then you will be taxed. So it does not include the growth. That's the nice thing about the tax-free plans. Yeah, the cap for 500,000. I get what you were saying, Sean. So yeah, that's the nice thing. That's the whole idea behind the tax-free plan. Is that all the investment that you make And all the growth that you get on that investment is tax-free, because all the investment that you make into it is already with after-tax money. It's already salary or whatever that you've been taxed on. So it's only the growth that can be tax-free. And that's where the incentive comes. Andre Foster, tax-free, best investment, not sure, high risk or low risk. So Andre, here's my personal opinion about tax-free plans. I'm not the biggest fan of them, to be very honest with you. The difference in growth between a tax-free plan and a life investment, which is taxable within the fund, is not much. When we go and we look at the projections between those two investments over a 15-year term, the tax-free plan, it does give a bit more return on investment than a life investment, but it is not so much that you're going to go, yay, fantastic. So I'm not the biggest fan of a tax-free plan, and the reason why I'm not a big fan of a tax-free plan is because most people say they're going to use it to save for retirement or for whatever the case might be, and at the end of the day they start withdrawing it every 12 months. They don't commit to it. So on a tax-free plan, you can make use of whatever portfolios you want to. So you can make use of basically exactly the same. You can make use of exactly the same portfolios in a tax-free investment that you can use in any other life or unit trust investment. But if you go and you invest at the bank, well, then you must be happy with whatever interest rate they give you there. Then you're going to do even worse than if you were invested in a life investment, to be honest. Lester Hartog, I'm 49 and 3 million retirement fund as at 31 August 24. If I retire at age 60 and add another 1.5 mil. Okay, so Lester, in order for me to do a calculation for you, I'm going to have to jump onto my laptop, open my calculators and everything like that. So that's going to be a bit difficult. But basically, you are going to be contributing up to 4.5 million. And then obviously one has to take into consideration the growth and so on. So I reckon you're going to end up 49 to 60. It gives us 11 years. So I would say if you contribute a total of 4.5 million, it should get to 14, 15 million. And if we look at 14, 15 million, just give me a second here. Let's see, do one quick calculation for you. Let's say you get 15 million at that stage. 15, 1 to 3 times 6% equals divided by 12. That would be an income of 75,000 Rand per month. And because it is then and not today, you can most probably accept that that is going to give you about a 40,000 Rand a month pre-tax income. But Lester, if you want proper calculations and you want me to give you a proper answer, rather send me a WhatsApp on the number in my profile, and then I can try and give you a more or a better answer. Okay, but it's very difficult to do these calculations like this while I'm actually trying to read and talk and everything like that. So does SARS keep book of this? Let's say I save now and then begin in 2 years' time, etc. No, Sean, that's actually the thing. SARS does not keep book of this. So all SARS does is at the end of the year, when they get the tax-free IRPs from the various banks and the various investment companies, then they take that and they make use of that to determine if you have to pay tax on the contributions. So it is your responsibility to keep a record of your own tax-free contributions. Now, I know that most of the insurers and banks will keep record of it. So if you have a tax-free plan with, say, Sanlam or Liberty or Momentum, they will keep track of the contributions that you're making. And once you get to 36,000, they will stop you. So you can't contribute anymore. You've reached your limit on your tax-free investment. But, and this is the big but, if you have two tax-free plans, you've got one with Liberty and one with Old Mutual, one with Momentum for argument's sake, the companies don't know about the other tax-free plans. So Liberty will only stop you once you get to 36,000. Momentum will only stop you at 36,000. And Old Mutual will only stop you at 36,000. And then you end up with a big problem because now you've contributed 72,000 too much. And that's when SARS is going to hit you with a tax. So you have to do your own bookkeeping. Fayad says, Andre, it depends on your age, financial position, and risk appetite. It does indeed, Fayad. But I do feel, and this is my personal opinion, is that anybody that's going to be making an investment for 15 years, anybody that's willing to commit to such a long term, can really take high risk investments. And when I say high risk investments, portfolios that is 95, 100% exposed to equities. And the reason for that is investments have shown over and over and over, all statistics show that investments, the longer the time frame is that you have, the smaller the risk becomes and the bigger the return is. So you can do as high risk as you want in terms of portfolios and equities over a 15-year term, and you're going to have a stunning return at the end of the day. Okay, Lester, will I be able to take 3 million and 1.5? I can take 1/3. So Lester, just back to that for you. So if the 3 million and the 1.5 that we're talking about here is in pension funds, provident funds, or retirement annuities, then you can only take 1/3. Remember, so irrespective where your 3 million and 1.5 is, as long as it's pension products, you can only take a maximum of 1/3 from the specific product. So let's say your 3 million rand is in your pension fund at work, the 1.5 million rand is in your personal retirement annuity, then you'll be able to take 1 million rand at the pension fund at work and 500,000 from the retirement annuity, and then the remaining 2/3 you have to then choose in which products you're going to put them. So it gives one flexibility if it's separate investments, but you can only take a maximum of 1/3 irrespective of whether they're standing separate or joined together. Okay. Fayad says, Sean, they keep track of it. Yes. I trust, Fayad, that you're talking about the insurance companies, which is correct. Okay, let's see. Why not tax-free? I have life investments as well. The reason why I say I don't like tax-free plans is up until 12 months ago, you could only invest in a few different portfolios. They've now changed it and there's now more portfolios that you can use. But because tax-free does not penalize people when they make withdrawals from it, people tend to use it like a savings account. Like a bank account that you have at the bank. They put their money in 3, 4, 5 months and then they withdraw the money and then they start again. And if you are investing like that, then why the heck are you doing it? Because you are not saving yourself anything. So I would like to see on tax-free plans, seeing that you can invest in all portfolios now, that there should be a penalty built in if somebody withdraws the money before a specific period of time. And that's why I don't like tax-free plans. The growth, like I say, is not much higher than what you would get on a life investment or unit trust investment. And even even when the tax has been done, so there's not a big difference. But mainly it's because of people's ill discipline when it comes to these products. Because now that I have access to it, I just keep on drawing the money. Make no mistake, if you take out a tax-free plan and you are going to be disciplined and you're going to leave your money there, absolutely great. You're definitely going to score at the end of the day in terms of the returns. Okay, Andre Foster or a RA. Yeah, RA is fantastic. I like RAs because retirement annuities have that magic thing with the rebate. So number one, any growth that you get in your retirement annuity is tax-free. There's no tax on the growth that you get on a retirement annuity. And then you get the rebate. And this is the easy calculation I always do for people. I say, let's say you contribute 10,000 Rand to a retirement annuity for the year. And let's say that your personal tax rate is 3%. So SARS is going to give you 30% of your 10,000 Rand back. They're going to give you 3,000 Rand back. Now you've got your 10,000 invested. SARS gives you 3,000 Rand back. If you put that 3,000 on the 10,000, now you've got 13,000. And if you had a 10% growth on the 10,000, an extra 1,000, so you end up at the end of the year with 14,000 Rand in your investment. Just because you were disciplined enough to take your rebate money and put it back into your RA. Suddenly you've got a 40% return on your investment. There is no investment that can ever beat that. But it depends on the discipline that the person has. And you say you're not sure what a life investment is. It's an endowment. They've just renamed it. It's basically the old endowment. That's all it is. So Sean, once again, with regards to how will they know if I pass my cap of 500,000? If you have your investment with a specific insurance company, then the company will keep record of it. What SARS will do is when they get the annual RPs that the company sent to them to tell them about the tax-free plans, they then see how much money you have invested into your tax-free plan. And they will keep record of those annual contributions that you've made. So SARS will see with every year's contributions on your tax return, how much you have done over your lifetime. And that's why SARS will know once you've got past the 500,000 limit. So they won't know about the monthly or the yearly investment until they get the certificates from the insurers or the bank, but they will then have it as part of their record and add it on, and then they know about it. Mark Lee, good evening. I am in final stretch of work. I have 2 pensions, one and one government. Well, Mark Lee, that's fantastic. If you've got that, then I'm glad for you. I hope it is worth enough, or the value is enough in your one pension, and you've been with the GP long enough so that you're going to have a good retirement. Sean Filino, input it on your text. There we go. Basically the same I just said. Thank you for your. What will you advise above tax-free investment? Do have a RA and small 24-hour investment. What will you advise above a tax-free investment? Do have an RA and small 24-hour investment. Okay, so I suppose that's a one-day call account that you're talking about, Andre. So here's the thing, I can't tell you what I will advise, because a lot of the investments is determined by your personal needs. How much risk you can take, how long you will be investing for, what your tax rate is. So there's a number of factors that gets taken into consideration. So the first thing is time. If you have 5 to 7 years or longer, I will say go high risk. Take an investment with a portfolio that's got a lot of equity in it. That means shares. So that's got plenty of shares in it. That's the first thing. Take a lot of risk then, if I can put it that way. Then it comes to your tax rate. If your tax rate is 30% or above, you will do the life investment, because the tax within the fund of a life investment is less than what it is on a unit trust. If your tax rate is 30% or below, then you can choose to take a unit trust, because then it will be better from a tax perspective for you. Okay, so time determines risk to a certain extent, and then tax determines whether unit trust or endowment, unit trust or life investment. So that's just a very basic way of looking at the investments. But then there's other things, such as what are you saving for, do you want to look at alternative investments, etc., etc. Because there's a lot more in the market over and above tax-free plans, retirement annuities, unit trust, and life investments. I heard from a colleague that you can collect UIF for 9 months after the trial. Comment, I don't know, mate. I don't deal with UIF, I must be honest. I pretty often get questions on UIF, but I can't tell anybody, because I don't do HR. I don't deal with these type of things, so I cannot tell you. Contact your HR department or somebody that deals with HR, and they should be able to tell you how long you can claim UIF for. I do think that UIF and how long and how much you can claim for depends on how long you were employed. Excellence, good evening, welcome to you. Let's see what's next here. Apologies for all the questions. I recently learned my broker get his commissions from selling units. Sean, yes, your broker must get a commission or a fee from somewhere. So if you are invested in your investment, in order to pay the fees, it's not only the broker's fees, we are talking about the management fee and the portfolio fee and all of that. all of that comes from the units that are being sold. But that's not a big problem, because as you get, so let's say you've got 100 units and they have to sell 2 units to pay for the cost. Now you've got 98 units, but now you've got 15% growth, so they go and buy a bunch of units again. So now you're up from 98 back up to 108 units, for argument's sake. And so it will keep on going. Your units will increase, which will increase your value, and they will take a little bit of the units in order to take off the cost. But the nice thing is, Sean, is you can negotiate with your advisor. If you feel that your advisor is not doing enough for you and he's taking too high a commission, go and sit down with him and say to him, listen, I'm not happy. I want you to reduce your fees. And if he doesn't want to, find yourself a different financial advisor. Your financial advisor should be able to, I believe, the financial advisor should be able to justify his value to a client. If I cannot justify my value to the clients that I'm investing with, or that I'm investing their money for, well, then there's no reason to stay with me. So I have to be able to justify what I do in terms of service, in terms of advice, to get my commission. Okay, 100% excellence. Thank you very much. No, Sean, that's not the only way in terms of that. What you can do, and I actually have 1 or 2 clients like this, who said that they don't want to pay any fees or commission, but they are willing to pay me a fee for the work that I do. So I have got, with a number of clients, I've got a, what do we call it? Can't remember what we call that little contract, but I basically have a contract. In my contract, I say, I as financial advisor will give the following services to you. I will do a review with you. I will check your funds. I will see you once a year. I will warn you if there's changes. So I give a list of stuff that I will be doing for my client. And my client says she's happy. And then I say to the client, okay, and for this, I'm going to invoice you a certain amount per hour. So I've got a couple of clients that I invoice 8,000 Rand per annum or 7,000 Rand per annum, and they pay me that. And because they are paying me that, there's 0% commission fees on their contracts. So you can negotiate to pay a fee. I know that there's not a lot of financial advisors that does that, and it's because financial advisors, I think, don't often think to do that. And number 2, I think financial advisors are also a bit scared and skeptical about clients paying them, because you put in all this work, and trust me, to get an investment going and to do all the advice and the planning, and it takes a bit of time. People don't realize it, but it takes quite a bit of time and effort. And it's a lot of work to put in. And then when you get to the point where you've done the investment and you've got the client and they're happy with everything, and then you invoice them and they don't pay you, it's not a lack of feeling. It's like somebody is stealing from you. So that is a concern for advisors. T-Man, how unit trusts are taxed inside or outside? So unit trusts, the growth that you get on a unit trust, okay, when you receive the unit, when you withdraw the unit trust, okay, and you have put 100,000 Rand in it and it's grown to 150,000, that 50,000 Rand is a capital gain, and you are taxed on that. So you are taxed in your personal capacity. So it's not taxed within the unit trust, because remember, in a unit trust, you earn dividends and you earn interest, what do you dividends, interest, and something else. And those things are not taxed within that fund. But when you get the money, then that capital that you've grown, that 50,000 Rand, that is the actual capital gain, and then you pay tax on that. So you pay on unit trust outside the fund at date of withdrawal. I hope it makes sense. Hang on a second. So if I go the full period, it should be okay. Oh yes, absolutely, Andre. There's a thing that we get that we can show people on quotations. That's the annual effective costing. So the annual effective costing basically calculates for a client and shows a client, if you invest your money today and the advisor takes 1.5% commission upfront, argument's sake, the admin fee is going to be this, the management fee is going to be that. If you invest the money today and you withdraw the money in 6 months' time, it will show you that the effective annual costing on it will, let's say, 5.5%. That means if you withdraw within a short period of time, that year the fees are going to be 5.5%. But if you leave it for a longer time, because now your cost that you've paid up front, or that was just calculated up front, it gets worked out over time. So you still get charged on a yearly basis in terms of cost, but it's a lot less because there's no initial admin fee, no initial management fee, etc., etc. So the effective annual costing after a 3-year period will come down from, let's say, 5.5 to 4%. So now the actual average cost per year on your investment was just 4% per year. And now as you go on, from year 5, 6, 7, 8 and longer, eventually you will see it will go down to like 2.2, 2.1, 2, 1.9%. So it means that if you've been invested for a period of 20 years, the effective annual cost per annum on your investment was just like 1.9% or 2% or 2.2%. And then the other thing that people forget is, because people then say, oh, so my costing is 2%, so if my fund has shown me a 9% return, then I'm only getting 7%. No, it's not right. The fund portfolio fee has already been deducted off the growth that you've gotten for the year. So your effective return on your investment is what you see in that fund. Is there a life cover for 60 to 65 that's not expensive? Mark Lee, it depends on what you see as expensive or not expensive. For somebody that's 60 or 65, yes, it is going to be a bit more expensive. But you know, what's expensive? If I say to you that it's going to cost somebody of that age 1,000 Rand for 300,000 Rand life cover, is that expensive or is it not expensive? So you can get it. It's just going to depend on what you see as expensive, not expensive, and how much cover you want. If you just want life cover for that person of the age of 60 to 65, then what I would recommend is that when you speak to a financial advisor, you ask them to get as many quotes as they can from as many companies as they can. If they then quote you with 6 different insurers, you will see exactly which one is going to give you the best price. And when it comes to life cover, my honest opinion is it doesn't matter which company you go with, because it pays out in the event of death. It's not like disability and severe illness that there could be T's and C's. I hope that answers it for you, Mark Lee. Is there a retirement age of 70 effective now? So, Perosa, no, there is no effective retirement age of 70. The only effective date is 55. Early retirement is 55. You cannot take retirement, or you cannot retire from a fund before the age of 55. But the rule with regards to maximum age has been taken away. So you can leave your money in your retirement fund, in your preservation fund, in your pension fund, if they allow it, until you're 80, 90, 110. You can take it whenever you want. There is no more maximum age. So short term, we can go big. Andre, go big or go home, mate. I will absolutely go with that one. I would say it doesn't matter whether it's short term or long term. You can always go big as long as you are happy to take the associated risk and fees and whatever. Next, Sean. Why not take fees from my monthly savings? Why not take fees from my monthly savings? Oh, sure. No, that happens. That happens. So when we talk about the fees that come out of the units that's being sold, I talk as if we are talking about lump sum investments. I'm talking as if we are talking capital investments of lump sum. But if you take up a retirement annuity, unit trust, life investment, and you contribute a monthly premium of, say, 1,000 Rand a month, then yes, there's a fee attached to it. And that fee, once the 1,000 Rand goes into your account, they immediately take that off, and that's what goes to the advisor. So then it comes off the actual monthly savings premium. But if it's not a monthly investment, then it comes off the capital and the growth that you earn there, or the units that you've got there. Sean, great one. I did ask him about fees. Then he said I must rather find another broker. I love it. When when conversations gets difficult for certain people, they rather just walk away. It's most probably, Sean, because so few clients actually ask advisors about fees. And I think very few advisors actually offer up to show out of their own free will to a client what they will be earning. I've seen it on a number of occasions that everything we do, we work on percentages, okay? So let's say I do an investment for you and it is R1 million investment. I can take up to 3.5%. So I can take 35,000 Rand as an upfront commission on R1 million investment. But now I say to you, I'm happy to do it for 1%. I'm going to do it for 10,000 Rand. You will most probably be happy. A lot of people won't be happy with that. If I go to an investment of 10 million Rand and I now say I'm going to take 1% investment, then it's 100,000 Rand commission. If I took 3.5%, it's 350,000 Rand commission. So now clients start getting, yes, but that's a lot of money you're taking and it's not fair that you take so much. And then the conversation gets difficult for the broker. And I think it's because that conversation gets difficult and they can't explain why they feel that they are justified in taking what they take as a commission. That's when they say, I'd rather walk away and you must rather go to a different broker. I'll sit and discuss with the client by fees, and I must be honest with you, I very seldom budge. I very seldom give a client a lower fee than what I'm prepared to take, because I know the amount of work that I put in, how many years of experience I've got, how many years it took me to learn what I learned, and then how much risk I take as the advisor for giving the advice. Because I know that if the client is not happy with something that happens in that investment, it's very easy for the client to run to the ombudsman or to the insurer and lay a complaint. And then the onus is always on the advisor to prove himself not being in the wrong. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. But yeah, if he doesn't want to, if he says you go to another broker, he doesn't like to have the difficult conversation. Where was I? Oh, shit, here we go again. Trying to get the fingers to work. Andre, you sure agree with this method? Capital growth. I have an RA and GPF, 21 years of GPF and 10 years of RA. I still go another 14 years. Oh, fantastic. Kunta, if you've got that, that means you're going to have 35 years when you get to retirement. Your GPF is going to look very, very nice after 35 years. And the fact that you've got an RA, I think you're going to be in a great position. But don't stop saving. And if you can save extra, then save extra. Go and take yourself a tax-free plan, a life investment, unit trust, whatever. Just go and save extra. I always say to people, I have heard and I've seen lots of people complaining that they don't have enough money at retirement. But I've never had anybody complain that they've got too much money at retirement. So just keep on saving more and more. Why am I not allowed to contribute anymore on my Telkom retirement fund? If you were retrenched, Sean, then you're not employed to them anymore. That's why you can't contribute. As a matter of fact, they would have asked you to move the money out. They would have asked you to either withdraw the money or move it to a preservation funds, because they don't want to look after it anymore. But you don't have an employment contract with them anymore, and that's why you can't contribute anymore. Would you suggest when time comes to take RA and buy a life investment? Now, Kunta, it depends. Are we talking about the 1/3? I would assume. If it's the 1/3, I won't say just go and buy a life investment. I would say that what you need to look at that point, at retirement, is whether you're going to need that 1/3 from the RA for an income, to pay off debt, or to invest for future capital growth. And only then can you make the decision. My opinion about retirement is there's so many different options in retirement that one can have. in terms of the type of plans that you're going to have, the 1/3 you can take, whatever. And people worry about it when they are 35, 40, 45 years old. Don't worry about it. Worry about it when you get there. Worry about what you're going to do with your money when you get to retirement 6 months from retirement. That's when you start worrying about what you're going to do with it. So for now, I'm not going to make any suggestions to you. I'm just going to say, don't worry about it until then. Andre, there's so many plans in the market. How do you choose plans? So I've had many years, 27 years experience as financial advisor, and another 6 years in insurance companies and banks. So I've got a lot of years behind me. So I pretty much know all the insurers and the investment houses. And basically what happens is I choose the insurance houses or the investment companies that I feel comfortable with, that I buy into their philosophy, I buy into their strategies, I buy into their cost structures, I buy into the trust that I have built up with them over the years. So that's how I choose. I've got 2 or 3 companies that I really like investing money with. I've got 2 or 3 companies that I absolutely hate investing money with. And then the same with the funds. There's so many different funds. I and no other advisor in the market can know exactly what's going on in every portfolio and fund. I think there's last year that they said there's more than 2,000 unit trusts, just unit trust funds in South Africa. We're not even talking portfolios. So once again, just as I choose companies that I work with because I trust them and I like what they do and how they do it, in the same way I go and look at the various portfolios in unit trust, and once again I go and pick a few unit trusts, or I have picked a few unit trust and portfolios over the years in the different risk categories. So if a client says to me, I want an income, and I know that we have to go very conservative with the investment, I've got about 4 or 5 different income portfolios, if I can call it that I will look at for the client. If my client says, listen, I want a medium risk fund, or we see that his risk profile says it must be, I'll have 5 or 6 of those portfolios. If it's high risk, I have a few of those. So I don't try and keep track of everything in the market. You will drive yourself absolutely nuts. But the portfolios and the companies that I deal with, I stick with that I do through them, because they've never disappointed me in terms of the returns. So I trust them because I've seen over my career path that they have always given the returns that is expected. Goeienaand, wat is jou gevoel op XRP? Marie, ek ken nie XRP baie nie. Ek is nie baie op hoogte met daai ding nie. Maar net van die bietjie wat ek al gehoor het en wat ouens om my al bespreek het, dink ek nie dit is iets wat ek ooit in sal belê of enige iemand op sal aanbeveel nie. Ek praat hier so absoluut op hoorsê, maar ek het 'n paar mense wat ek ken wat gebruik maak van derivatives en hedge funds en forex trading en al daai tipe van dinge, en net dat ek gehoor het is 'n no-go vir my. So nee, ek hou nie van hom nie. Your company allows early retirement at 50. Well, maybe they do, but they're not doing you any favors if they do that, because if they give you early retirement at 50, you're going to have to withdraw your pension funds. You will not be allowed to retire from the pension fund. You can maybe retire and then leave the money in the fund for the next 5 years to 55, but you're not going to be able to retire from the fund at 50. And if your company says that you can, then you tell them, I said that they're lying to you. Okay. Don't do it in any case. Anybody that retires early, unless you've got millions and millions in investments, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Regarding a previous question, it's definitely better not to take the 1/3 if possible. No, I won't say so, Sean. And the reason why I won't say so is, if you leave all 3/4 in an income plan, and let's say you are now going to get a 30,000 Rand a month income, you are being taxed on 360,000 Rand per year annual income. So you are being taxed on a 26% tax rate. But if you take the 1/3, and remember there's a portion that's tax free, and then there's a portion that's taxed at 18%, and then there's a portion that's taxed at 27%. If you take that, you will pay less tax than you would have paid on the income, number one. And number two, you will now get an income of 20,000 Rand a month, so 240,000. So you will be paying substantially less tax than the person that's getting 360,000. So if you take your 1/3 and you paid a bit of tax, and then you take that 1/3 and you go and reinvest it into a different income plan, you can get an income plan that's going to give you an income then which is virtually tax-free out of that 1/3. So then you can earn your 10,000 Rand income out of that 1/3, basically tax-free, not completely, but almost completely tax-free. And you get your 20,000 Rand on which you pay tax. So you still get 30,000 Rand income, but you pay a lot less tax on the income. So personally, I normally look at how much is the maximum that I can draw for a client on the 1/3 basis from a tax benefit point of view before I advise them to leave. The only time I will tell a client not to withdraw their 1/3 or would advise clients not to take the 1/3 or a portion of the 1/3 is when I know that person has absolutely no financial discipline and they're going to spend that money. Then I would rather say, listen, rather pay the tax and take the bigger income so that you at least can survive. Pleasure, Sean. Anytime. Oh, Kunta, mean pleasure. Is it good to give lump sum once off to invest in retirement fund? Excellent. Yes, you can do that. But once again, you must just go and look at the amount of the lump sum that you want to invest. Remember, in South Africa, the maximum contribution you can make to your pension fund is 27.5% in order to get the full rebate for the year. And that again is limited to 350,000 Rand. So if you are already contributing 200,000 Rand to your retirement funds, and now you want to contribute an extra 200,000 Rand, then you're only going to then you can do it, but you will only get a rebate of 350,000 Rand. The extra 50,000 Rand, you don't get the rebate, and it rolls over to the next year. If you keep on doing that every year, then at retirement, you will find that you're going to get a bigger tax-free portion. So it's not too bad to do that. But I personally prefer that people just contribute the maximum that they can, and then they start making use of something like a life investment. And the reason why I do that is, once again, the tax thing. If you get your rebate on a yearly basis on your retirement funds, and you've got a life investment on the other side, then you get the best tax benefits that you can up until retirement. And on the other side, you get a fund that is taxed within the fund. So at retirement, now you can retire from your retirement fund, and let's say you get 30,000 Rand a month income and you pay your 26% tax. And on your life fund, it's being taxed within the fund. You get 30,000 Rand on that side as well, but there's no tax because it's already been done in the fund. So you get 60,000 Rand a month income, but you're only paying 26% tax rate, where the person that is getting the full 60,000 just from pension funds would be on a 39% tax rate. So you see, by good planning, in terms of your investments, you can not only make sure that you get great growth by making use of great portfolios, you can also limit your tax and benefit from the tax saving that you get. Okay, so I hope that answers it for you. Oh yes, Sean, I agree 100%. I believe that we need to keep our fingers on our money, not just leave it in to brokers. Absolutely. Any client that does not check up on their own investments every now and again might find that they're going to be in trouble somewhere. Because sometimes clients don't want an advisor to see them on a yearly basis, or they move away, whatever the case might be. And if you don't know what's going on in your investment and your advisor is not following up, or he's not doing his reviews the way he's supposed to, whatever, you could find at some point in the future that you're sitting in a very bad investment. Oh, thank you, Neems. My wife bought the shirt for me. As a matter of fact, I think she buys all my shirts for me. Okay. Yo, folks, I'm not going to get through everything tonight, but I'm going to try. Nice, thank you. Sean, buying property. Sean, my opinion about buying property, and I've said it a number of times. A property is not an asset until it's paid off. So when you buy a property, if you cannot buy it cash, it's not an asset. It is a debt. It becomes an asset when it's paid off and you don't owe anything, and it doesn't matter whether you rent it out or not. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, one property is not an investment. It's a risk, because if it's not rented out and you can't find renters or they destroy the property, there goes your investment. So to me, property is you have to have 5, 6, 7, 8 properties, and then only does it become a proper investment portfolio, or you buy into an investment portfolio. But I personally am not a big fan of property, not only because of these couple of points that I've pointed out, there's others as well, and I have seen too many people in my life go bankrupt because of property. So yeah, not a big fan. Overseas investment, good or bad? Andre, I think it's a good thing, but it depends on the type of overseas investment you're going to do. If you do an asset swap investment, as we call it, they are great. They are giving fantastic returns at the moment. If you do a direct international investment, according to what I see, they're not doing so great. So I don't think they're so fantastic. And the thing is, with an international investment, the question is always for me, are you going to use the money internationally? Because if you want to do an international investment, you want to go over, you want to go and have a holiday, whatever, and use it there. If you're not going to do it, you just do the plain, simple asset swap investment, and you're going to be well off. Investing my home loan in extra properties, is it a good or bad thing? Andre, like I just said with regards to properties, I'm not a big fan of it. If you've got a property and it's paid off, then rather go and save until you can buy a second property cash, and then a third property, whatever the case might be. But to go and make debt to buy a property and now you've got the asset, you don't have an asset. You're paying through your nose for the interest. And then you're hoping that you're renting it out, and you're hoping that they're not going to destroy it. So no, people, there is plenty of people that makes wonderful returns on investments with properties, that are doing fantastic with properties. And those people that specialize in that, absolutely kudos to them. It's like anything else. Cars is not an investment. That's my honest opinion. A car is not an investment. It keeps on losing value. But I know people that specialize in specific cars, antique cars, Volkswagen build-ups, and so on. And these oaks are making a killing with the cars. So every type of thing that you do can become a great investment. And it depends on the person that's investing the money and how the person that wants to invest the money feels about that specific thing. So that's why I say, personally, I'm not a big fan of property investment. But I do not deny that it can be a fantastic investment. What are your thoughts on the 4 a.m. club? Are they giving good advice? Just been following them. Yes, Shane, I'm actually part of the 4 a.m. club. And I do think they give good advice. As a matter of fact, I know all the guys there because Marcius is my stepson. And he actually learned his trade as a financial advisor with me. They're doing financial advice and investment advice basically at the moment on a different way that I do it. I don't personally make use of all the investments and portfolios that they make use of, but there is an absolute place in the market for it, and that's the wonderful thing. We come from two different viewpoints when it comes to investments and giving financial advice, but we can respect each other for that. Not only the advice that they give in terms of investment, I think one of the things that people forget or lose out of mind when it comes to 4am Club is the other benefits they give you in terms of the help in self-growth, business growth, the books that they study on an ongoing basis, the courses that they offer on their website. So yeah, I'm very impressed with what they do, and I'm very chuffed with them. Max, dankie. XRP is gemors. Ek dink ook so soos ek sê van wat ek gehoor het. I recently applied for Section 14 from Metropolitan to 10X. Will my funds be divided into two parts? Lebo? Yes. So when you do a Section 14 transfer, it's going to take a bit of time, but all retirement annuities, all provident funds, all pension funds, all of them is now part of the two-part. None of them can get away from it. The only ones that are not part of the two-part is people older than the age of, I think it's 55, who have not chosen to opt in. But please do understand, there's not physically two separate investments. Your money in your retirement annuity, if you've got 300,000 Rand in there, all 300,000 is lying in one portfolio. It's all growing at the same rate. Everything is exactly the same. The two pots, what they talk about that's actually in the background. They've got a system whereby they calculate and they say, if this person wishes to withdraw out of 300,000 Rand, the portion that is allocated or will be allocated to the two-pot part is, let's say, 20,000 Rand. So they just use the two-pot terminology to go and make a book entry in the back end of the system, so that the system and the people know what can be withdrawn out of two-pot and what cannot. But it's all still one fund. You have to actually apply if you want to separate it and say, I want 1/3 of my money to be invested in that fund and 2/3 of my money in that fund. Irrespective level. I hope you're just transferring it. I hope you are not making withdrawals. Please. Biggest mistake in the world. That's my honest opinion. Monaco shows that the only reason for tax is to support the incompetent. Monaco shows that the only reason for tax is to support the incompetent in society. Max, I don't know what you're trying to get at, but if you say so, sir. So me and my wife can invest in the tax rebate. Yeah, both of you will get the tax rebate, Andre. If you both do retirement annuities, you both get that tax rebate. If you both do tax-free plans, you both get that tax-free growth that you earn there. Absolutely. And yes, you and your wife can get the benefit. Obviously, you're going to have separate investment. Sean, I hear what you say. I can afford to save 10,000 Rand per month, but I can buy a property and let the tenant pay the bond. So let me tell you what happened to at least 3 people that did exactly what you said here. They bought properties, they put renters in, and then the renters didn't pay. Easy as that. They didn't pay for like 3 months, 4 months. Eventually, they got them kicked out. Now they are 40,000 Rand behind in their bond repayments because the renter didn't pay them. So eventually they get the renter kicked out. Now they go into the house, they have to replace the carpets, the doors, whatever the case might be. It cost another 40,000 Rand. Suddenly they were 80,000 Rand in the pit because they expected the renter to pay their bond. It happens like this. And I promise you, Sean, my next door neighbor from 14 years ago was in the bank. He worked in the bank. He worked with the property registrators in the bank. And he went under because of exactly this. So by all means, like I say, I know of lots of people that have properties and they've got good renters that's been staying there for years, no problems. But I know of enough people that have seen their property go down the drain, so to speak, because of one renter that did not pay them or that gave them grief or whatever. You want that data? Go for it, mate, by all means. My fund is growing by 15% yearly since after COVID. That's how I recovered my 2-pot. Well, that's fantastic. I don't know which portfolio you invested in, but 15% is fantastic. Congratulations. That one we've answered, Lebo. Let's see. Great stuff. Kunta, you say so you can start and ask for life investment, pay monthly towards it? Absolutely. Absolutely. All the investments that we are talking about, All the investments can be either lump sum investments or can be monthly investments. The only investments that cannot be monthly investments is income investments, where you physically want to receive an income on a monthly basis, where you take the capital, whether it's your own capital, whether it's your pension fund capital, and you invest that, and then you withdraw a monthly income. Those are the only investments that cannot be a monthly investment. But anything else, absolutely 100%. Property in Mosdet, you need to buy right next to beaches. You will coin it during the holidays. I won't agree with you there. I cannot name names, but somebody very close to me has got a property in Zibali. And they rented out over the holidays. And over this last December, as a matter of fact, they rented it out there. And for 2 weeks, the people renting the place there were moaning and groaning and complaining because this was not right, and then that's not right, and this is not right. They eventually offered to give the people their money back just to get rid of them. So, yeah, people, when it comes to property, I'm sorry, I've just seen too many bad horror movies to buy into it. Great stuff. So, maat, ons moet seker ontmoet. Andre, dit sal baie lekker wees. Ek sal nie omgee om te ontmoet nie. Kyk asseblief, soos ek sê, in my profile is my WhatsApp nommer. Stuur my 'n boodskapie daarso. En dan kan ons van daar af gesels. Absolutely. Two-pot is nonsens. Ek is jammer om te sê, maar dit is die grootste fout wat ek dink nog ooit gemaak is in terme van wetgewing. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate the time. I really enjoyed it. I do as well. I enjoy Tuesday evenings. I have fun when I sit here and I do this stuff. Let me see. I've got another 2 minutes. Credit. What was that? Oopsie. I have to take the risk. Thanks. Thanks, F High Growth. Mate, I can't see what your name is. I think it's HB, and some of your sentences are good. Some of your sentences like this one doesn't make sense. Sorry. Oh, Kunta, I'm glad if I could teach you something, 100%. Andre, absolutely, mate. Let's get together. I'm turning 55 first month. How long does it take to collect my RA? Turning 55, when you submit your documentation, 4 to 6 weeks maximum. Although, if SARS can operate it quicker, and if they get the tax director back within 72 hours as they promised they can, then it can happen in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. But yes, you must just ask your financial advisor to be on the process all the time, to keep on kicking butt to get it done. Okay, Sanjay, Strong's mate. Ansonet. My kat skree altyd. As ons weer praat, dan skree sy. Ek gee vir haar 3 keer 'n dag kos, is nog steeds nie genoeg nie. Dankie Ansonet. What's the best way to use your tax-free savings in 1/3 RA when you retire? Griep. There's no right answer, mate. You can use it for capital growth. You can use it to pay debt. You can use it for income. It's all going to depend on what your situation is when you get to retirement. So I can't tell you. I would personally say if you don't have to use it when you get to retirement, you can just leave it for capital growth. That would be the best. Because then you make sure that at a later age, when you really might need it because of health issue, age, whatever, that you then don't have a problem. So that would be the best according to me. But it's all going to depend on your personal circumstances and what your needs is at retirement. Oh, Alexander Forbes, High Growth is my fund. Good, good, good. If you enjoy it, great. Antoinette, thanks for an insightful session. Thank you, Antoinette. I almost thought that you were one of my clients that I have in Midrand area that's also called Antoinette. So folks, it's 7 o'clock. I've had lots of fun with you all again. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for attending. Please, if you have any questions, send me a WhatsApp and I'll help you with the greatest pleasure. And yeah, I'll speak to you again next week, Tuesday. In the meantime, you want to speak to me before, you know where to get hold of me. Keep well. All the best. Bye-bye.